Welcome back to our second episode of season 4. Go us, woohoo. Every week we're going to high five.
Yes, we are.
That we've made another week, but
Yes.
we are back with another episode. We are Liars Podcast. I'm Liss.
And I'm Michelle.
And welcome if you're just tuning in. Welcome to season 4.
Welcome.
We're happy to have you.
Yes.
We're discussing season 4, episode 2, Turn of the Shoe. Aired June 18th, 2013, written by Oliver Goldstick and directed by Mama Joanna Kearns again. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Our summary: the presence of Mrs. De Laurentiis continues to unnerve all around her. Toby shares a heartbreaking secret with Spencer. A nearly kills Mona. Nearly.
Yeah.
Just about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we have a patron shout out.
We do have a patron shout out. No, well, it's because I didn't have all my things open, but we want to shout out Rose V.
Yes.
Yay. Welcome to the A team.
Welcome to the A team.
We're so excited to have you.
This is the place to be.
I think so.
If you like Pretty Little Liars, then join the A team.
Yeah, but
Head over
Rose
to
V, welcome. Sorry to cut you off,
That's
Liz.
okay.
How'd you find us?
Please let us know.
I know, we're so curious.
We're so curious.
Yeah.
Because, we're assuming you like Pretty Little Liars.
We're assuming. Yeah, you joined during this show, so.
Yeah. So welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you.
Yes.
Kat says, is there anything truly wilder the show could do more than PLLs trying to get clues out of a parrot? Or could they get even wilder? I'd like to know the answer. I'd say they're probably going to get even wilder.
Kat, that is such a funny question. Is there anything more wild than trying to get information from a parrot?
I think there's more things to come that are probably more wild if I had to predict. I can't think of anything at the top of my head at the moment, but
I would love to know if there was someone in the writer's room that either had a pet parrot or was like, this would be funny. What happens if the girls ran into an animal that could talk, and that's really just a parrot who could recite.
Right. There are no
learned
other
lines.
animals in the world that can, speak.
Yeah.
Like, or mimic someone else's.
Mimic. That's what it is.
Someone else's voice.
Right.
Not that I know of. If you know, please let us know if there's another animal.
Because, of course, all animals communicate in their own way. But,
right. But we can't
the-
understand them.
Right. Well, I mean.
Michelle's like, well, I
speak
mean,
cat.
like, Niles told me this yesterday. You do speak cat.
Yes.
One day. Hopefully one day there is a thing we can use to communicate with our animals.
I would love that. But yeah, going back to Kat's question, that's
Cat's question. Yeah.
it's very funny. It is very funny that I didn't even think of it like that, but that is.
I know this is the device we have to use as a bird.
Well, 4 seasons in, how else are we going to get info?
This is true.
Let's bring in a member of the
we
animal
took away
kingdom.
the RV. Now we're going to add this bird.
Is the
to
RV
information.
gone forever? It can't be.
I don't remember if Mona ever gets the RV back, if we get a new A lair. I don't know. I'm sure we get a new A lair. I just don't know if it's on wheels or not.
Yeah, because what would you do with all this stuff in that vehicle? It's got all information.
Right. And we're assuming Redcoat has it.
I don't know how I feel about Redcoat anymore.
Okay, well, do you want to talk about it now?
Well, I'm just, I'm like 2 episodes in, and I can't. I just can't deal with the fact that we have a Redcoat and an A, and if they're the same or not.
Too many people to deal with.
Because you know what it is? I think in this episode we saw the black hoodie and the mask
Mm-hmm.
in the back of Mona's
True.
car, and so I'm thinking all A. To me, Redcoat is like a separate.
So Redcoat is not involved with A.
I just don't want to think about Redcoat.
Okay, we won't think about it.
Thank you. Not this episode.
We'll just think. Right. We'll just take the episode, whatever episode's at hand, and we'll go with that.
Thanks for humoring me.
But I agree. I mean, there's too many entities we have
Yeah.
to worry about. So if we can just get an answer about one,
Yeah.
it would be easier.
Yeah, and I'm trying to keep track of all of it and timelines and who fits in where. And I just want to focus on one mystery and not have, other things like Aria taking self-defense and stuff like that.
There was about 3 seasons of Aria. 3 seasons. 3 scenes of Aria doing self-defense. We did not need all 3.
Yeah.
One would have been sufficient. Cut in half.
Right.
Sorry, not sorry.
Right.
We love you, Jake. You're a cutie, but
Is he though?
he seems cute.
I mean, I reacted, but Liss gave me nothing. I'm like,
Well, because I didn't want to give in like we were gonna like have this romance situation, but you immediately see it. There's no getting around it.
yeah.
It's very clear that
Yeah.
he's brought in because he's cute and we need someone else.
Yeah.
For Aria to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think last week it was
Holbrook.
Yeah, Kat I think asked, or Elizabeth was like, do we think
Or
Aria's
Brittany.
gonna go
I think it was Brittany.
gonna go after Holbrook, but
Right.
God, I hope not.
I don't know. You'll tell me.
I will. So they start the episode where the girls are discussing Mona, but we're also discussing Melissa. And Emily's like, where's your freak sister? I'm like, this is so stupid. The dialogue here is so cringy. And Spencer says she's in DC looking for internships or something like that. So the girls think that she could potentially be the Black Widow. Do you think that is a possibility?
No, I don't know if Melissa has time for that whole production of it all. I could see her being involved. She's shady. I don't trust her.
Right.
But her putting on a whole get up
just to go to Wilden's funeral
and
like,
out in
doesn't-
public.
That doesn't make sense.
I don't think it's Melissa.
Right. Like she could have went to the funeral regardless
As Melissa.
And I think next week's episode they talk about how Wilden was in Melissa's graduating class. Yeah.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. I think Spencer says something to the effect of, oh, you didn't know him, you graduated with him. And I was like, and say what? All of these people went to high school together? I find this hard to believe. They were all the same age.
Well,
I mean, put a pin in it. I could be completely wrong and made that up in my head. Plus, I was jet lag and stuff when I watched it, so maybe I made it up. But I'm pretty sure she asks her next week about Wilden and says, you graduated with him. It just blows my mind. Why are we...
Well, maybe that would work in their way because then that means he knew Garrett and he knew these people. And so if he's hanging out with the older crowd, meaning Melissa or who's your cutie, Jason, but he wasn't friends with them.
Right. Like he just was in school with them, but wasn't friends with them. I don't know.
Spent the summer like knew Al because of the whole...
Right. And also,
Huh.
Cece says Melissa took the picture of Wilden, her, and Allie on the boat.
Right.
So Melissa obviously knew Wilden, maybe was potentially friends with him.
Maybe they were involved.
Maybe. And so, like, why would that be weird if she went to the funeral herself? So, therefore, it doesn't make sense that they would think that she was the Black Widow. I don't know. That's just my thinking.
We'll put a
Do you know
pin
what I mean?
in it. Yeah.
I could be completely wrong with what I say, but
Sure. We'll figure it out.
they also still argue about like the teams. Allie's alive. Allie's not alive. And like Spencer, like, Hannah's the one saying, we did see her, right? Spencer, and Spencer's kind of like retracting her statement a little bit. Hannah's pissed because she's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like we saw her. It's factual. And so they also discuss Mona, and then Mona comes in and Mona's, like, oh, sorry, I'm late. And Hannah says, yeah, put my mom's phone in that casket. And Mona's like, chill. Like, you're coming so hot.
Like, what
all
do I
the
need
time.
to do to convince you guys
Right.
I'm on your side?
And Spencer's like, show us the lair again.
Right.
So Mona takes them to where she parked the RV, but it's gone. And honestly, I thought she was shocked it was gone.
I do too. I kept going back and forth with this episode.
Yeah.
Watching Mona very carefully, even when Mona's attacked, which I know we'll get to. At this moment, I genuinely believe that she did not know that the RV was moved.
I agree. I don't remember, so I agree.
Well, I don't think so because, I guess.
Well, Mike says, do you think that Mona knows where the RV went?
I don't.
Yeah, like, it doesn't seem
to me
like it.
It feels like A is a little pissed at Mona. You betrayed me. You're going against me. I'm going to torture you now.
But it's almost like if happenstance wasn't that Mona got locked in the lodge with them, she never would have sided with them. So it's like as you said, maybe, did Jenna lock the girls in the lodge to start the fire to potentially do a payback situation? Or did Uber A, Redcoat, whoever, lock them in? So it's like, if Redcoat, Uber A didn't lock them in, it's just coincidence that Mona also is now on the side of the liars. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes,
I'm trying
I
to
do.
get at the point where I think she had no choice. Because
Well,
A then at the end was like, you're all mine now, bitches.
do you remember?
I don't.
Oh, okay.
I really
So
don't. This is like me figuring this out in real time with you because I don't remember.
Does this stuff come back to you? Clearly to a point, a little bit.
I mean, I remember way more about what happens with Mona, but I don't remember how we get there. Like, I don't know. I don't remember. I really don't. The middle was fuzzy.
Yeah. Okay.
Middle is
but
fuzzy.
I think Mona was shocked.
I think she was surprised, yeah. And the girls don't believe her, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get that.
Yeah, Spencer's like, oh, you don't know where it went? And so
Right.
they all get in their cars individually. And this scene,
You had issues.
it was weird. It was weird. So Mona's car's parked first. Then I guess it was Spencer and Hanna in one car. And then Emily and Aria in the last car. And so Spencer and Hanna get in that car. But then Aria says to Emily, wait. They don't get in the car. They watch Mona get into her car.
Yeah.
I'm like, why say wait? Like, you were waiting for something to happen to her.
Yeah.
Or happen where
Wouldn't-
Mona's going to prove something. Or like, were you guys going to just watch where she went to follow her? Like, why wouldn't you just get in the car?
And wait.
And then wait. Right. Like, get in the car and say, wait, I want to see what Mona's
Yeah.
doing.
That makes more sense.
Right. It doesn't.
That makes more sense.
It just was weird. Anyway,
Yeah.
Mona gets in the car and immediately is getting choked out
Yeah.
by Allison Mask and a black hoodie.
Right. Right.
So she ends up getting out of the car, escaping. Emily and Aria run to her. And then this is when A, or whoever, gets in the car and starts to try and run them down.
I mean, classic A, right?
Classic A, trying to run people down.
Here we go. Every season we have one.
Right, exactly. And so Emily, to get the two smaller ones out of the way, she like pushes them and lands right directly on her shoulder. And she is in
On, like,
pain.
It's like jagged rock.
Ooh, that cannot be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Were you surprised? Vic says, were you surprised Mona was attacked? You like
I was.
shrieked. You jumped.
I jumped.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Liss witnessed me jumping. It startled me. And here's where I honestly could be like, this could be all orchestrated and Mona's acting and I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
But I also could believe that Mona was actually attacked and didn't know this was going to happen.
Right. I mean, the latter seems believable.
Yeah.
I believe that to be true. Again, I don't remember. So to me, I think I believe Mona.
Yeah.
It seems like she was surprised
Right.
about all of the things.
Also, if Mona was in on it and A was like, okay, I'm going to choke you out, how would A know the girls were watching? And then follow up, also, I'm going to, it's going to look like I'm going to hit you and run you and the two, whoever's left, girls over, but just know I'm going to swerve at the right time.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
And why would A strangle Mona at that point, knowing that there are other cars there? They don't.
Well, right. I guess that.
You know?
I guess that's too. Yeah.
Like, wouldn't someone else? Maybe A thinks the girls don't care about Mona and don't care what happens to her, or they just didn't think it out.
Or like A would choke her, and then Mona would be like, "No one's cares, no one's watching," and then A would stop and be like, "Oh, well, this was a wasted effort." I guess they were like, I think the girls are gonna wait and see, and let's see if Mona, if you were to fall out of your car, make a scene, would someone stop for you? I don't know.
Right. Maybe Mona was like, I'm going to test their loyalty with me.
Right. Exactly.
It's possible too.
There's just so many factors to go along with that.
Everything is a question. Every single scene is a
I
question.
know.
And that is what Pretty Little Liars is. It's
Yeah.
very frustrating.
Yeah.
So to jump ship a little bit, we're going to go over to Jessica De Laurentiis and Tippi the Bird, because this is like the bulk Not
This
the
is
bulk,
your
but
secret,
my
too.
secret, the more
Yeah.
exciting things happening in the episode. So Hannah ends up seeing Jessica. She tells her, hey, come over here. We're going to talk. And they're talking about superficial things. And Hannah asks her, when the cops found her body, and she says the cops didn't find Allie's body, the construction landscapers were found her body. And Hannah says, well, did you know? And she like stops her right away. She's like, oh, did I know it was her? I just saw the yellow top and I knew it was her. That is something to say.
That is something
shocking
to say, because it makes me think there's no body there. You just saw a shirt.
Right. Or just someone in a yellow shirt.
Right.
You're just clocking that. So it's very suspicious. So Hannah, being a believer Allie is alive, saying she just saw a yellow shirt, well, that doesn't prove me anything.
This is +1 in the Allie's alive column.
Basically. Right. I just saw the yellow shirt. That was enough. And then she goes into this flashback where it's hard to make out. I'm assuming the flashback was, she says to her, that top was too revealing. And Allie says, I like the yellow one. And so we're to assume they're talking about the infamous yellow top she's wearing the night
that night.
Right, that night. She also tells Allie that she can't have this sleepover. Allie wants to have a sleepover in Cape May with her friends alone without adult supervision.
Yeah.
And Jessica's like, I'm sorry, no. It's not going to happen. My teenage daughter and her friends, it's not going to happen.
And at this point, they're young teens.
Right. They're like 13, maybe 14 years old.
So pitching that to G and my mom.
Are you crazy?
Not even in one of our houses.
In another state.
In another state at grandma's place or aunt, whoever's family
home. Yeah.
No rental unit on property? No.
Right.
Crazy.
No, that's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And Allie's like, rethink it. And she's like, no is the answer. And so then Allie does this thing where apparently she's been doing since she's 5 years old. She holds her breath as long as she can until Jessica says yes to something. I am sorry. I would let my kid pass the fuck out. You need to pass out. You need to learn a lesson. I would never allow that to happen.
Never attempted a tactic like this.
It's so manipulative.
Well,
at 5 years old, she learned this.
Thought to hold my breath and use it as a threat.
Right? It's basically like I'm hurting myself.
Well, right. Yeah.
Right? And therefore, you should grant me my wish.
Yeah. And not only am I hurting myself, I'm doing it in public. So
right, I'm putting a scene up.
And
Jessica hates a scene.
And Jessica lives up to a standard.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever do anything like this when you were a kid, manipulative in this way?
I was, as my mom said, very fresh. Very, very fresh. But I never manipulated the situation.
Like very different. Fresh is very different than manipulative.
And if my mom, and I think we've talked about this before, but like my mom rarely said no to me.
Yeah, same.
And so if she said no, she always said, if I say no, it's for a good reason. And I just always took that.
Yeah. I mean, same. My parents.
You know? To an extent.
To an extent, sure. Yeah.
She's like, you can't have that last Oreo. Then I'd be like, no.
Right.
You know?
Right. But I never. And like my sister was fresh.
Yeah.
Tested boundaries.
Definitely. But not manipulative.
Not like this self-harm.
Right.
Self-harm.
Mm-hmm. That is a deeper, traumatic thing a kid at 5 years old comes up with.
Perfecting that?
That is some deep wounds.
Yikes.
This family is quite messed up.
Does Mr. D come into town?
We met him already, remember?
No, but is he...
Oh, do we see him again?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I guess. I don't remember.
And what about Daddy Hastings?
Again, he comes at some points. I don't remember when. The parents, like, and I'm sure as the seasons go on, and granted, I don't remember, I'm assuming we do like the typical, the kids are now the adults and the adults don't matter type thing.
Except for Ashley right now.
Except for Ashley right now. Right. So.
Okay. No, because I'm just wondering, we haven't seen another parent interact with Jessica. Pam sending over a welcome basket, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the Hastings I would like to see.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess they're not really on good terms. Like, I don't think Jessica and Peter really would want to see each other.
Right, but I want to see that.
Of course, the
you
drama.
Know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen Jason and Jessica interact this.
No, we only saw him with his dad.
Right. So.
Yeah, the family dynamic is needed to like put the full picture together. Yeah.
I feel like Allie's in a bunker now. Now I'm in the camp that Allie's alive.
It seems possible.
Vic, I wonder if Vic's she's still in that camp.
Mm-hmm.
With our Betty Patron listener.
I think one of the only one who doesn't know what happened.
But now I'm starting to think that she is alive based off of Jessica's comment. And I guess that they did that on purpose to make us think that.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Hanna says to Jessica, well, Allie did not invite us to Cape May. And she goes, that's not a surprise. I'm assuming she was hanging out with older people. There were beer bottles found. Probably a guy. So the girls were like, beach hottie, board shorts. The name is like interchangeable.
Right.
Then Hanna gets freaked out because she hears like a voice in the distance and realizes that there's sort of like Allison's voice. It's a real stretch here, people.
This does not sound like Allie.
No. And like the bird, obviously you don't know how an animal is going to cooperate on set, but like the bird never spoke. It was just voiceovers next to the bird. It was
I could
funny.
see the bird making like bird noises.
Yes.
But this African gray did not
no
speak.
Words. But Hanna gets freaked out because the bird sounds just like Allison. And then this is when Jessica says, well, Allie and this bird got close at my mother-in-law's house. And please give this bird to someone because I have voices in my head. I don't need this bird here. And be careful around it because she'll pick up whatever you're going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Hanna takes this bird to Spencer's, in which Michelle predicted Spencer was going to end up with the bird. And she technically does until the bird escapes.
Right.
And Spencer is working on some stuff with Toby's mom, which we'll talk about. And during this time, Tippi's making this sound. It's like a melody. And Spencer realizes this is a phone number.
How? This is... To me, this is a ringtone. And I said to Liss, and truly listeners, I don't know if anyone wrote in about this. Would you have guessed this?
Never in a million years.
I mean, we don't really hear the do unless you have your volume on anymore. So things are different, but they also have their cell phones, but they have buttons. Like everything's like a touch. But there's no way I would have heads up on this.
This might be ignorance, but doesn't everyone's like phone services kind of have like different, like I know the tones are generally the same.
Wait, are we talking about like pressing the numbers?
Yeah, right. Okay. That's what I assume it is.
I just want to make sure I'm on the right
page.
Like
the tone of each number could be a little off depending on which phone you're on.
Right.
I mean, it'll be generally in the same, like I'm assuming it like from 1 to 2, like it gets higher in pitch, right?
How amazing.
It's been a while since
she
we
figures it out like
quick. Yeah, she's on the phone trying to call Hanna and then realizes when she's dialing, she's hearing the dial back of the number. And then Tippi's also making a similar noise and saying, it's a phone number.
If I'm doing an escape room, Spencer's number one on the call sheet.
All the way.
I'm awful at escape rooms. Also,
same.
like
I just kind of stand in the corner. I'm like, everyone else figure it out because I am lost.
Same. I'm like
it's
dead
too
weight.
overwhelming.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Right. And there's too many things.
Yeah.
That could be something.
But Spencer would be great on an escape room.
She absolutely would be. Yeah. They go upstairs because they're like, maybe this phone number is incorrect because it's some York County phone number that nobody picks up. And when they go up, the bird is gone. The window is open. And that's that. But Tippi.
Is Tippi on the island?
No, Tippi's not on the island. We see Tippi one more time, I believe.
But with A?
With A? I think with A, yeah.
Well,
I'm not sure. I'm assuming so. I don't remember if they give the bird back or something.
Oh.
I don't remember.
Okay.
But I know when I was on the wiki page, I'm pretty sure Tippi makes another appearance.
Tippi's in another episode?
Yeah. But like down the line. Okay, so Tippi is gone. And then we have that last scene where A is preparing a meal and Michelle shook in her seat. And Kate had wrote in, please tell me how Michelle reacted to this scene. Not well. Not well. She was screaming.
I'm not even exaggerating, really. shook me, and it's supposed to.
It was
Because
right.
A's eating a small,
Yeah,
what
because
looks
I
like
didn't remember. I'm like, oh my God, did they cook Tippi?
They cooked Tippi.
Did they cook Tippi? But no, it's like Cornish hen or squab
right,
or something of the sort. A very small bird. And Tippy's there.
Offering a piece to Tippi.
Yeah.
Which is always so strange, right? Bird eating bird.
Yeah.
Weird. But then my mom used to feed our bird eggs.
Oh.
And I'm like, are you just
that's also
eating
weird.
Babies. Of what could have been. I think birds will eat, like chickens, right? Eat everything.
Everything, yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I mean, because they don't know better. Not better, but
sure. But do we still feed them that? You know, just because they don't know better, I don't know. Right, I don't know like the diet. I'm not going to judge. I don't know how it works.
Strange.
But this scene shook me.
But Tippy's okay. Tippy's for now.
That would be really dark.
Oh, of course.
If this ABC Family show did this, that would be really dark.
I mean, we had a dead pig last week.
Right.
We could have had a dead bird this week.
Well, we did have a dead bird. It just wasn't Tippi.
Right. It wasn't Tippi. It was a small chicken, something.
Ew.
Freaky.
Ew.
Ugh.
Gross.
All right, more with Hanna. So she questions Ashley. She's like, Mom, you're home. How was New York? Ashley says, I was in a conference room for the whole weekend. Didn't really see New York. And Hanna says, well, I went to Walden's funeral. And Ashley's like, all right, well, how'd that go? He's probably in hell, blah, blah, blah. And then Hanna says, Mom, your phone, you left your phone. And she's like, oh, the hotel must have mailed it back. Because Hanna didn't find it in the mailbox. We know that. Ashley doesn't know that. So Hanna lied on the spot. Yeah, someone dropped it in the mailbox. And Ashley's like, oh, someone at the hotel must have found it and couriered it back for me.
But Ashley's also lying on the spot.
Right. Ashley's like, oh, great. Oh, shit.
Didn't even.
It was like breathing. She just went, look, they must have found my phone. And Hanna's like, I don't believe really what my mom's saying here.
Yeah.
And then later on, she's talking about Wilden, and I guess this is when we see Shauna outside, and Aria is like, you should go talk to Shauna yourself, but not really. And like, this whole scene, oh no, cringy. Hanna doesn't even take a breath, not one breath.
Foot and mouth, that girl.
Oh God. Why weren't you at his funeral? Well, why? I know you know about Jenna. Why were you Wilden's friend? And she's just going off word vomit. And Aria's like, not now.
I think we could have cut this scene
completely,
and we still would have been suspicious of Shauna.
Right. And then Shauna really could have still gone in the locker room and said, why is Hanna questioning me about Wilden? Yeah. We didn't need to see this scene.
Yeah, this is...
It's another Hanna scene where she lashes out and she puts her foot in her mouth. Yeah. And then she goes back home. And I don't know why she's in the garbage.
Yeah, what made her look in there?
But she went in the garbage bag, in which is another bag, it says laundry bag. And in the laundry bag are her Manolo Blahnik shoes, which are very expensive shoes. Yeah. With mud and a toothbrush. Like she's trying to clean her muddy heels.
Like Ashley was trying to clean up her heels. That laundry bag, was it from a hotel in New York?
I don't know. I didn't really pay attention fully to what it said, but it would make sense if it was from a laundry bag in New York.
Regardless, Ashley, clearly you're trying to hide something. You don't put that in the communal downstairs garbage can. No. And if is Hanna in tuned enough to her knowing that she did pack those shoes with her to go to New York? Oh, that's a good point.
That's a really good point. Were they home maybe? And then Hanna also is clocking that. Okay, well, if these shoes were home, why are they here? Why are they dirty? I mean, we don't really see Hanna's thought process in all of it. She just knows like her mom's up to something and she's not telling her the truth. And so then later she asks her why her shoes were dirty, and Ashley completely disregards the question, says you need to clean up your room. Yeah. Not even an ounce. And then later on, Hanna's like, Mom, like, were you here? Did you have it out with Wilden? And she says, I did not kill him. I believe her. Doesn't mean she doesn't have something to do with it. And our listeners want to know. I mean, Mike says, do you think A will use Ashley's shoes to torment Hanna? Yes. Do you think A has any pictures or info of the night Wilden was killed? Yes. Yeah. Also, do you think Mona really overheard the police talk about someone wearing heels? wearing
Yes.
heels at the murder scene, or does she know something about Ashley's whereabouts that night and that makes Hanna squirm? Like, did she already know about that and was pretending to tell Aria that she overheard it? So again,
Oh.
the motives of Mona.
No.
Yeah.
But Ashley wrapping the shoes.
Yeah. So her last scene is her putting these shoes in that bag, in a garbage bag. And then we don't see really, is she going to her curb to put it in the garbage? Is she going somewhere else to dump them?
To me, it seemed like we were going to put them in our backyard trash. Don't put anything in your backyard trash. That should really go under your bed in a lock. You have the key.
Yeah.
And A will still get it, but at least you have confirmation.
Right. And someone was watching.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah. So Kat says, did Ashley have something to do with Wilden's stuff?
Yes.
Into what capacity do you think?
I think there was a standoff. I mean, last week I talked about like she had the gun and she killed him and blah blah. I don't know. I do believe Ashley's saying like I did not kill him.
Is the truth.
I joked to Liss that like her toes were crossed and fingers were crossed behind her back, but I think she was there and maybe she witnessed. She had a standoff and then maybe he got shot or something.
And maybe she knows who killed him.
Right. So
time will tell.
Too soon to tell right now.
It's too soon to tell.
Yeah.
All right. More on Spencer. So in the morning, Spencer opens up the mail and sees a small envelope from UPenn, which
very small.
You know, in America here, if you get a small envelope, generally back in the day, it meant you were rejected from whatever school you applied to.
Yeah.
And right off the bat, she opens it. Of course, it's a rejection letter. So the whole day she is like, she can't even function. No Hastings has not gone to UPenn.
Awful.
Right. She'll be the first of her family not to go there. So she's not dealing with it well. The girls don't know, but she does open up to Ezra. And I really did like their chemistry as far as Ezra being a good teacher figure.
I agree.
I appreciated the advice he gave her. Hey, I'll look at your paper on the weekend. Like, very mature, nice relationship.
I agree.
And Michelle and I had this moment and like, we don't even know what we're saying.
No, we do know what we're saying.
But the chemistry was great. Good enough that this could be a potential, which granted, I want nothing to do with it. I want absolutely nothing to do with it. Ezra is on my shit list, as you guys know. But it's just refreshing to see people speak to each other, not in an immature way. I can't explain it. There's just something about
it. Was refreshing.
Right. It's refreshing to see
two in a scene together.
Right. And just to see Ezra have nothing to do with Aria, nothing to do with his son. Like, he is just, I'm teacher Ezra.
Right.
It's so refreshing.
Right. Yes.
Like, this is what you're here for.
Good way to put it.
If that's your purpose in life, let's see it.
It was tolerable.
It was
good.
My favorite Ezra scene of the show so far.
I know.
No, it's pretty weird. I liked it. I hope we keep it up. I'm going to say we probably don't.
Okay. Well,
but it was really nice for him to take time out of his day to read her essay, in which he says is really dark. And unfortunately, she's like, this is my life. I made it out. My friend got murdered. I went to Radley. I got out, I made it out without making macaroni necklaces or whatever she said. And he's like, yeah, I understand that, but I don't think college admissions want to see someone who could potentially be unstable.
Right. You don't need to give the full disclosure.
Right. You don't need to tell them all the thing. And she does tell Toby later, like, if I don't tell them, that A's going to. So I might as well one up them and say, this is what happened to me in my life. But unfortunately, it didn't work for UPenn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she also has not applied anywhere else, which is really bad. He's like, you need to start applying now.
Yeah. To not even have a backup. I mean, I guess when you're so sure. Also, I'm surprised that Daddy Hayes, like, there's no hookup.
There might be. I mean, Kat says, what will Spencer do now? Elizabeth says, will Spencer eventually end up going to UPenn somehow?
Yeah, I think so. I joked that maybe she's going to be like one of our other characters from our Total Betty shows that pulls a thing and that happens in season 3 of this certain series that I'm speaking about. Don't want to spoil. And lie.
Yeah.
That
about
she actually got into UPenn to her family and friends.
That was beyond one of the most frustrating storylines of
I
that whole
know.
show. And I
know.
really hope that doesn't continue here.
If you know,
If you know, you know.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was super frustrating, but common, I think. And that could be
Absolutely.
in these shows, right? So perhaps a lie does take place to her parents, at least, and Melissa.
Yeah, right. Because they all went to UPenn.
Right.
Should be a legacy.
Right.
To add in Toby, who obviously has some secrets that he's not revealing to Spencer, at least not in the beginning of the episode. And she's saying, well, can we skip school? Because after this, she finds out about UPenn. She's like, doesn't want to go to school. And he's like, no, I got a job. And he's very like shady with his phone. And she's like, why are you lying to me? Like, we got past this like a couple of days ago. A week ago, we got past this.
Right.
And he's like, don't ask me about it now. And then later on, she's giving him attitude, as she should, because he's like being really dodgy about everything. And he shows her, look, I got this transcript because I moved the RV.
I am
Thank
glad.
goodness for the no secret.
Yes.
Oh, God. It feels good to not have the secret.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, the girls still don't know. But they eventually will. I don't remember if it's next week or whatever, but.
This is a tough situation.
Yeah.
Because like at the end, I don't know. I was going to say at the end of the day, you got to take care of you. And if you want to find out information that doesn't have to deal with the girls, because it's always like protecting the girls. And the girls are threatened and blah, 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 blah. It's the girls, right? But now it's like, I want to know about my history.
Right. Like it seems harmless because he's not affecting anyone really, but well, Spencer says this was our whole way of figuring things out, which Michelle's like, was it? Because
yeah,
it's just what Mona knows.
Right. I guess it's
that
we don't have access to that layer anymore with
right.
the information.
Right.
But then I'm thinking, is this like another storyline that involves not a main player? Is it necessary? But then I'm like, maybe because it's Radley, it does tie into Radley. I'm speaking more so on the same idea that the waste of time with Ezra and his family.
Or Caleb and his. Right. And so what was interesting about last season with Toby being on the A team is because we needed to know the secrets. We wanted to know why. This time, it's in the same vein because Radley also involves, Mona and A and Spencer and whatever has happened there. But it also very much involves his mother. And so we'll see as the season progresses that his mother is more kind of involved with what we're figuring out. So it's like, it's a nice payoff
of Radley.
Right. Like we're figuring out things about Radley because of Toby's mom.
Right. And that's
and
connected
therefore it's going to be connected to Spencer and what's his name? Eddie Lamb or Mona.
Right.
So it's more interesting because it has to do sort of with A stuff.
Yeah. So plus we like Toby more than Ezra.
Right.
And the Caleb stuff we knew wasn't going anywhere.
Right. We knew that was not going to pan out well.
Still, I don't think that stuff's done.
It's done here. It's done.
It's done here.
I mean, it's done like for now. It's done. It's done.
I have an itch. I'm sorry. Like, is she scratching her butt? No. Like
it's her back.
My
It's like her
lower back.
Her lower back.
Yeah, sorry. Okay.
Okay, so what the transcript says is basically Marion is hopeful about life and she wants to go and see her son and make up for lost time, and she felt so loved, and it's so sad. It is so sad because we find out that she does commit suicide.
Yeah.
And he's like, does this sound like a person who would commit suicide? And it's interesting that A has given him this information of, I don't think your mother's death was a suicide and you should investigate this. It's just so interesting that like they have this information about Toby's mom, like something that none of us, at least yet, had thought about. And Toby thinking, okay, my mom killed herself. Unfortunately for me and my childhood and the way I grew up, like that was what I knew. So for it to be something potentially different, like that's life-changing. And so he's determined now to figure this out, and Spencer's like, well, maybe it just seems like it,
right?
It could be she had these grandiose thoughts before doing this. Also, unfortunately, people do have that.
Yeah, and you tell your therapist what you think they want to hear,
right? She's like, maybe
before you do your plan,
right?
Because you found a piece
Yep.
You don't want to set them off.
Right. All
And
makes sense.
Spencer thinking of, oh, I did something similar in Radley. She kind of faked her.
In a way, yeah.
A little bit.
Right. She was like, I'm going to stay here a little bit longer to figure things out. So she knows that people can manipulate the doctors and whoever's on staff therapists. So she's like, maybe this isn't true. And he's just not convinced. So she's doing some research. Elizabeth says, what actually happened to Toby's mom?
I don't know. I don't know. This. I feel like there's a whole new thing I have to think about because we just were given this information.
Yeah. Right. Like something you never thought you needed to think about. Now we have to add it into the mix of everything else.
Right.
Every season we get a little bit, and then we're like, here's this huge thing. You're like, okay, so now I have to think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, more on that next week.
Okay.
We'll head over to Emily. Yeah. Paige is showing her the mock-up of their dorm room, which everyone was like, that's a large room that would never be.
I know, they have a couch in there.
Right. Also so cool that you can like do this 3D diagram of your dorm room, and Paige is decorating it, and Emily's like, I love it. I'm so excited. And Paige is like, oh, you know, UPenn, Stanford's totally going to want you. Not as much as I want you. I'm like, stop. It's just like a little too heavy on the
I know,
on the corniness
it
of
is
it all,
corny.
I guess.
It's cheese. I think it would be better if she was like, oh, that was so cheesy, but like I
right
it.
Address
it, you know, address that it's cheesy. Call it out that it's corn.
It definitely would have been better.
Yeah.
And then they like hug because Emily's like, let's push the beds together. And when Paige like grabs Emily by the shoulder, Emily's like, oh goodness gracious, I'm going to pass out, and says that, you know, she'll be fine, but she doesn't think she can swim. And Paige is like, what are you, crazy? You have to swim. Emily's like, I'm working on it. So she goes home. She goes into the medicine cabinet where there's a bunch of different pills. We don't really see what she takes, but they're not hers.
There's a lot of prescription pills.
A lot of prescription pills in there. And she takes pills that day for the pain. And then later on for the meat, she takes more pills. And so then the meat is going to happen. And this is when Shauna is like trying to shake up her energy a little bit. She's like trying to
like get in her head.
Yeah, get in her head about things. She's like, oh, you want that Stanford spot? I want it too. And then Emily is about to swim. And when she does, she like basically cracks her head open by slamming into the edge of the wall because she's losing sight of the lines. Like she's dizzy, wobbly.
So did
not have a good reaction to this.
Did this happen because she took
too many,
also probably on an empty stomach,
right? And like,
and then you're swimming,
right? Also, like she doesn't know the dosage. Like she doesn't know how many she's taking. She probably should have taken, I mean, I don't know how much, there were big pills. She probably could have cut them in half. Like it was not a good situation. She took a lot of pills, and they bring her in the stretcher and they're like, how did you hurt your shoulder? And she is able to still lie while being like out of it, saying that she fell off her bike. And then eventually she has to tell Paige what really happened. Yeah. And so Paige is like, it was all about A. But then Paige is like, I was like, I just want a new life with you. And Paige is like, maybe we're already starting it. I'm like, how so?
Well, I guess her being truthful.
That's true. That's a good point.
Honest.
Good point. Yeah, being honest with each other, not hiding it from each other. Seems to be, so far, the partners are getting the truth in season 4.
Yeah.
So that's good.
So far.
Sharing
is caring.
Sharing is caring. Absolutely. Listeners want to know, is this the end of Emily's swim career?
No.
Yeah, right. I mean, her shoulder eventually will heal, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think she just needs to heal. Doesn't seem like anything's broken, just badly bruised and sore.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She should definitely get checked by a doctor.
I would hope so. I mean, hopefully they checked her out.
I was going to say, I hope
they
checked her out there.
Yeah. I mean, I love that she's on the stretcher and she's like, can I just go swim? Like, honey, you are bleeding out.
Your head has got a wound.
She was pretty conscious, and then for her to lie about, oh, I fell off my bike.
I know. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Lastly, we have to talk about Miss Aria. I have so many words yet I have no words. Like, she's looking to feel protected because of the car incident. Her and Mona almost get run over. So she wants to feel like she can protect herself, in which totally valid, absolutely should be the purpose.
Yep.
The girls should have been doing this whole time, like self-defense to feel safe.
Yeah.
So she goes to see Holden, which I love. We bring up Holden.
Have loved to see him, and they work together.
Right. I would have loved to see this like badass Aria train session. Holden really gets her to a good spot. She's like really kicking ass. I would have loved to see that. But instead, we get another person, another love interest. We bring him in. Hey, not mad to see you. You're very cute, very sweet. But I am just so like, what? I mean, it's every teen drama. It's every freeform show, those type of things. You just have a boy and a girl. They have to like each other.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how old you are.
Right.
We have to find romance here.
Yeah.
So
right.
she immediately asks him, do you do private lessons? Which immediately should have been a red flag. Not on his part, but like, yeah, let's start tomorrow. They start. He's teaching her, they have to touch each other. And then he's like, you need to trust me. She's like, I don't even know you. I'm like, thank you. At least we recognize you don't even know him.
He wants to get close with her and put her in certain moves and
right.
locks.
And she's like defensive.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And she's like, I don't want you touching me like that.
Right. Good point, because
that's how
it's kind of silly to say like, you need to trust me if this person's supposed to be pretending to be an attacker.
Yeah, no, you have to be open to me. Like if I grab
I need to be able to maneuver your body however I need to. And so he's like, you need to trust me. She's like, okay, like I'll work on it. And then he gets her to, mind you, these are 2 scenes now. We have another third scene. He gets her to a good point where she feels more confident. He's like, are you confident in your skin? She's like, yes. So much so, I need to kiss you. And it was like the slightest gentle. This is now the 3rd time we kiss someone without meaning it. Well, I should say that. Yeah, the kiss counter just goes up to 3. This our one-off kiss counter, even though it won't be a one-off, but
it's just so predictable. And then he goes to the house, and I was like,
I know. She's like, oh, is Jake gonna be there? I'm like, yes, exactly.
Yeah, because I felt it too. I liked it. Blah blah blah. I mean,
is he supposed to be in the chat? We were saying 2021. Even so, what business do you have with a 17-year-old?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about the
Of course
age,
you didn't, because they don't want you
care.
to. Well, that too.
I don't care.
We don't care. It's nice and refreshing to see her without Ezra. But why do we do it? She immediately says, I just broke up with my boyfriend. And he wants to know, hey, are you afraid of this person? She's like, no, I'm just here. Right. Like, appreciate that you said that.
Valid. I guess the reason why I didn't think of 2021, I'm thinking for some reason he was the same age as Holden.
Maybe. Hey, we don't know. I don't remember if we ever get a confirmation of how old he actually is.
But if he was the same age as Aria, he'd be in their high school. So
right.
Probably,
if not a neighboring town.
Right.
Because
like where Shauna goes or wherever she goes.
Yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm.
Let's
hope that that's the case. Yeah, he's like, oh, did Holden tell you he was the teacher? Because like I'm the teacher. And people in the chat were saying, well, like, you have to be a little bit old. Like by the time you get a black belt in like karate, you're older because you've been doing the practice for a while.
Well, maybe those rules don't apply to Rosewood. Maybe. Karate school.
Karate. It was some sort of dojo, kojo dojo something or another. Okay. So right. I'm not really sure. Taekwondo. It's on Taekwondo.
Jiu-jitsu.
It's one of those self-defense. We'll just call it self-defense.
I mean, when he shows up to her house, he does say like, I'm not mad about the kiss, essentially.
Right, because I liked it.
But maybe we could just go for coffee. Like, we can take a step back and get to know each other.
Right, because he says, maybe you're not comfortable with the teacher-student relationship, which is just how comfortable she is.
Clearly, she has a type.
She has a type. She likes authority figures.
Yeah.
And they like her.
Right.
Again, he's cute. In a different circumstance, I would like it. It's just way too fast.
Yeah.
It's way too fast.
Yeah.
let this girl be alone. If she wants, like I said, if she wants to take self-defense classes with him, great. I don't need you to jump into a romantic relationship
Or
with
maybe
him.
like in 6 episodes and we grow.
Right.
Like, oh my God, wouldn't that be so cute?
Well, how
if Aria
cute would
and
that
Jake
be?
got together.
How cute would that be? The tension leading up to it as opposed to just giving it to us.
Yes.
I need the tension. The tension is the best part of
We
television.
love the tension.
That almost kiss,
Yeah.
better than the kiss.
Just like a friendship forming.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Give it to us.
We
Good point.
we don't deserve it.
No, and we're not gonna. I don't think we get it.
No, I mean next week they agree to go to coffee, right? So
Does Ezra see them?
not next week.
But I'm assuming Ezra's gonna see them
right
out.
there is a
Yeah.
we'll grow on this a little bit,
Yeah.
and this
Yeah.
will be her buffer for the Ezra stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so Kate has included more A or nay.
Yes.
Here we go.
A or nay.
So this is A or nay.
A or
We should come up with a
nay.
little.
We need a little jingle and
we
then
should
like the
get our
flashing A or nay.
We should get our sound guy on this.
Yes. A or
Okay,
nay.
so A or nay. Spencer's UPenn rejection. Is it A or nay?
Nay.
Okay. Marion Kavanaugh's death.
Nay.
The raccoon living under the De Laurentiis porch.
So I would say A if other things were missing, but it made it seem like her landscaping is just messed up. But maybe that's A, trampling and getting into the house.
Maybe.
Wasn't it weird when Hanna looked up at the window
Yeah.
and saw the curtains drawn of Allie's room? Was that Allie's? No, it
Yeah.
could have been Allie's room. So it's
That's usually the
facing-
window they look at when they look at the De Laurentiis house. I
It
don't know if
is?
it's Allie's room, but it's like when we've seen people or like Jason or whatever, like in that house, we always look at that one window. I'm not sure if that's Allie's window. I'm assuming it is.
But the curtains were drawn.
Mm-hmm. Like that's weird.
And Hanna clocked that.
Yeah. She like looked up.
I'm going to say nay.
Okay. Jessica giving Tippi to Hanna. Remember, she's Allison.
How did I forget about, like, I actually thought about this earlier in the week. I was like laughing to myself. I'm like, that's so funny, Michelle.
You're so funny.
You're so funny. Yeah, let's go with that. A.
Okay. The phone number that Tippi is singing.
Nay.
Mona talking to the cops.
Nay.
Emily's reaction to the painkillers.
Nay.
Dojo Jake's resemblance to Garrett Reynolds. Actually,
Wow, I couldn't put my finger on it. When we were watching, I was like, Liz, he looks like the guy from O-Town.
yeah, it's like Eric Estrada or something. Is that not his name?
No, I think
Is his name Eric
I
Estrada?
actually think you're right on that.
From O-Town. I think he's similar to Garrett.
But
I
he
can
does
definitely
look like
see
Garrett.
what you guys are saying.
Yes. Okay.
Huh.
Oh, no.
It's not.
Eric Estrada is
It's like a baseball.
76
I was
years
gonna
old.
say he's like a baseball
And I'm over here like, totally.
That is the name. Wait,
Uh,
is he a baseball player?
no, Eric Estrada. What the heckles? You are right, my friend. You are right, Eric Michael Estrada. He knew.
My boy band knowledge, you
And
know.
here I am back on the, yeah, right. But Eric is his dad. This is not the time nor the place to spend time doing this.
Is his dad also Eric Estrada? That's 77 years old.
Okay. Oh, interesting. No, I don't think they're okay. Anyway,
Yeah,
he does look
that
like
is
Garrett.
funny.
That's so funny. Very funny.
I love this A or nay.
I love it. Thank you, Kate.
Yeah, again, if you have A or nay submissions, we'd love to hear them. You can send them to 631-600-3916. We'd love to incorporate them into the show.
Yeah.
Michelle, we have a Lucky Leon's Ladle this week.
We sure do. Let me pull that up for us. Lucky Leon's Ladle. The scoop of the week is Baskin Robbins Poppin' Candies.
Oh, please.
Watermelon and cherry flavored ice cream with blue raspberry flavored poppy candy and a sour blue raspberry swirl. So Mike sent that in the group.
He was actually eating it tonight.
It looks delicious.
It looks so good.
I've never had anything like this before.
Same. Just like sherbet.
the popping candy. How fun.
Like Pop
Pop
Rocks?
That's what I'm thinking.
Couldn't think of the word.
Yeah. The candy isn't the only thing popping this week.
Mm.
A is popping out of back seats trying to off Mona and Aria. Emily popping some pills so she can swirl through the pool like a shark.
Nice.
Similar to the blue raspberry swirls. Speaking of swirls, the possibility of Ashley being involved in Wilden's death is going through Hannah's head. And then there's Aria, who is in a love spiral kissing her new instructor. I wonder if the kiss tasted like cherry chapstick. I give this episode 3 scoops.
Okay.
Thank
3
you,
scoops.
Michael.
3 scoops.
Cherry chapstick.
Mm.
LOL. That was great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I would like to try this ice cream.
Me too.
Ben and Jerry's, you said?
Baskin Robbins.
Oh, Baskin Robbins.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we have that here, so maybe we can see if they...
I wonder if we can get that.
Right.
Yum.
Maybe it's a summer flavor.
Yeah.
All right. MVP and shittiest.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
MVP.
Okay, me too. Ready?
Okay.
3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
1, Hannah's
Ezra. I thought you just said Hannah's pig. And I was like, huh? Hannah's wig.
Hannah's wig.
Hannah's wig.
Actually,
Hannah's wig was fantastic.
are we sure this is
I'm not
this is a
sure.
wig?
I'm not sure. Maybe by this point they dyed her and then gave her some extensions, maybe. But it looks really good. Whatever it was, looks really good.
Yeah. So okay,
I thought you said Hannah's pig.
I'm gonna take back the wig and just say Hannah's hair.
Hannah's hair.
Ashley's
okay.
hair.
Well, Ashley's hair. Yeah.
Which whoever, it's longer. The color's nice.
It's very complimentary of her skin tone.
If it's a wig,
we
bravo.
like it. Bravo.
If not, that's who my MVP is.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I picked Ezra. I probably the first time in this entire podcast I will ever pick
That's
him.
a good choice. That's a
But
good choice.
again, what I said before, I really enjoyed his teaching moments.
Yeah.
He was there to help.
Yeah.
Shittiest. I mean, I think everyone was pretty annoying.
That's the thing. It's like just annoying.
Everyone was just annoying. But I went with Mrs. D.
Yeah. She's
like why would I have to
standard.
keep it with the hefty Hanna comments?
I know.
That's about it. I really
agree.
couldn't think of anyone else that was.
Because like Aria was annoying, but I
It's
get
so
why you're acting the
annoying.
way you're acting and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess Shauna, but like Shauna's whatever.
She's just spicy. And you know what? Hannah came for her. So
Hanna did.
she stirred that pot.
Yeah. A cringy. Would you say it's more cringy than the 5 we gave last week?
No. But what you're like pursing some lips and squirming. So how are you feeling?
I'm trying to rack my brain of like what I would say it's maybe a 4.
I liked this episode better than last week.
Yeah.
I jumped and I screamed.
Yeah. No, I definitely I was gonna say I hyped it down.
You definitely hyped it down.
Okay, I'm glad.
Majorly.
Yeah, the more I watched, so the first time view, I'm like, oh, it's not really providing what I'm looking for. But then as we dissect it, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it's better than I
Yeah.
thought it was.
Yeah.
I'm going to say a 4.
Okay. I go with that.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. I'm going to give you my secret for next week, episode 3, which is titled, fitting for you, Cat's Cradle.
Cute.
Shh. My secret is that the girls figure out where the original mold to Allison's mask is, and they head there for answers.
The original mold.
Like where Allie got the mold of her face made, because it's definitely Allie's face, so it's not like someone else is making that face.
See, that's very unclear to me.
Okay.
Because to me, that doesn't look like Allie.
Mm.
It just looks like a mask. And so I would never assume Allie made the mask.
Yes. So
But we've seen that.
there's a mold that the girls find next week. There's a mold of the mask.
Yeah.
So they go and find where that
Yeah. Okay.
started.
I mean, I get that.
Mm.
That's very interesting. So from that, I guess like they do, like when they went to that doll shop
Mm-hmm.
and they'll question like who was the last person to, or like how many. Is that a little grumble? throat grumble.
That was from deep inside my chest.
We heard it.
I apologize.
We heard the grumble. I wonder if it picked up.
Well, if it didn't, then forget what just happened. But if it did, that's hysterical.
That's very funny. I guess they will question, how many masks have you made? When was the last time it was purchased?
Right.
Was a bulk order made? How does this process work?
I'm going to give you like a little bonus.
Okay.
They find a mask of someone else's face there. Who do you think it is? I won't confirm, but I'm just curious if you had to just make a light predict.
Either Mona or Spencer.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe Toby.
Ooh, Toby.
But again, these masks this doesn't look like Allie to me. It's very like plasticky and.
Well, I mean, it resembles Allison's face. Like Bridget, our friend who did our artwork for this podcast. If you haven't checked out our photo or thumbnail, what's it? Podcast art?
Yeah.
Can't think of words.
Yeah. It's our faces.
It is our faces, but it is a mask. So if you were to look at it, someone who knows you says, "Oh, that's definitely Michelle's face. That's definitely Liss's face." I'm looking at it right now because our patron Kate sent us those ornaments.
Yeah,
it slays. It slays.
It's amazing. I love it.
I love our faces.
If
you want our faces, go check out our merch. Just saying.
Yeah, check out our merch shop. It does look like us.
Right?
Yeah.
It resembles you. And so I think the mask definitely resembles Allison.
I think
feature-wise.
I need to see the mask
next to her.
Either next to her or not with a hood on or not with like hair. Like I just want to see the mask and really examine it. Can you find me a picture of that?
Probably, yeah.
I don't want to go Googling.
No, definitely don't do that.
That's not a good idea. But I would love to see that so I could really get a picture of this mask.
Okay. I will maybe do a side-by-side for you.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and we'll inspect it a little bit next week. Like it will be without on a person. Like they'll be looking at it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. That's exciting. Do you like next week's episode?
I don't remember. I watched it, and then when I did my prediction for next week, your predictions for next week, I just kind of like went off of what I remembered happened. So I don't remember exactly if I liked it or not.
Okay.
I don't even know if I completed. I must have completed the episode.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, yes. Okay. I remember things that are happening. It's coming back to me now.
Back to you. Mm-hmm. So we'll do a little mask investigation.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do we have a review?
We do have a review. This is so exciting.
Very.
As I raise the MacBook. Okay. This is an Apple Podcast review from Katie Smith, 1989.
Woohoo! 1989.
From UK. Hey, friend.
Sorry,
5 stars.
Nice.
Love it is the title. I've been obsessed with PLL since the beginning and have just rewatched it for the 4th or 5th time.
Wow.
Was looking for a podcast and this is great. Love hearing you girls talk about it and theories. Also, just restarted Gossip Girl, so I'm listening to your podcast on that. I've done my OC and Tree Hill rewatches, so I must also listen to those pods.
You must.
Too.
You must.
Wow. You're in the Total Betty world now. Thank you so much, Katie Smith, 1989.
Thank you. 1989, Katie Smith.
We really appreciate it. Thank you for being here. I can't imagine what it's like to watch PLL for the 4th or 5th time and then listen to me be a dum-dum lollipop.
But you're not a dum-dum lollipop.
Mm-hmm.
You're not.
Sweet, but you know.
You're not. You're just watching it like all of us dummies watched it back in the day.
I guess that's true.
I think Katie would agree.
Would agree. But thank you. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, consider leaving us a review if you haven't. Subscribe. Spotify, you can leave comments.
Yep.
You can rate over there. YouTube.
Do
all
the things.
Places. Please
help us out.
Yeah.
We would love the support.
Yeah.
Next week we'll be back for another episode and we hope to see you there.
Bye.
Bye.